Okay, this is Unit 8, which is quadrilaterals. And we're going to go over the basics that we really talked about. Most of this unit we were talking about parallelograms and the different properties of them. So in parallelograms, opposite sides are congruent. And we show that by putting a little mark here and here, and a little mark here and here like this. Opposite sides are also parallel. And remember, we show that by putting arrows on the sides like this. I'm doing just two different diagrams just so that one doesn't get so crowded it's hard to see. Opposite angles are congruent. So this angle is the same as this one, and this one is the same as this one. Consecutive angles are supplementary. That means they add up to 180. So these two, let's take and call this A and B. Angle A plus angle B equals 180. The consecutive ones, the ones next to each other, equal 180. And finally, the diagonals bisect each other. That means if I draw in this angle here, and I draw in this diagonal here, this side is equal to this side, and this side is equal to this side. That's true for every kind of parallelogram. Rectangles have all of the properties of the parallelogram. Plus, they also have two additional properties. So they have all the things we said over here. Opposite sides are congruent. Opposite sides are parallel. Opposite angles are congruent. And in rectangles, they have 4 90-degree angles. So every one of these angles is a 90 degrees. And the diagonals are congruent. Their diagonals are exactly the same length. So not only are they the same length, but when I cut them, this piece from here to here is equal to that one, is equal to this one, is equal to this one. Rhombuses are also parallelograms. They have all the properties of a parallelogram, plus 4 congruent sides. So just like we said before on the parallelograms, we said their opposite sides are congruent. Well, here they're all congruent. Opposite sides are parallel. Opposite angles are congruent. Consecutive angles are supplementary, so A plus B equals C. The diagonals bisect each other. And the diagonals are perpendicular. And the diagonals bisect opposite angles. So when I draw this in like this, this is equal to this is equal to this, they are perpendicular, and this angle is equal to this angle because it's been bisected. And those are equal to the ones on this side. And here these are equal to these, and these, and these. And finally, a square has all the properties of all three of those kinds, because it's a parallelogram, it's a square, and it's a rhombus. I'm sorry, it's a rectangle. Parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus. So, opposites, all 4 sides are equal. All 4 angles are right angles. All 4 opposite sides are parallel. Diagonals are congruent, and they bisect each other. They're perpendicular to each other, and they cut all these angles into equal pieces. We also in this unit have the mid-segment theory, which tells us 2 things. A mid-segment is when it connects the middle of this side with the middle of this side. That's what a midsegment is. It connects the midpoints. And it is parallel to the third side, and it's half the length of the third side. So DE equals 1/2 of BC. This is half the length of this, and they're parallel.